driver of the number 88 Valvoline Patriotic Chevrolet, who is our most recent race winner, who earned his first Monster Energy Series win last weekend at Chicagoland. We will open it up to questions for Alex. Please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic. We'll start with Greg and then go to Jerry.
Oh, hey. Hey. Greg Engel, Auto Week Cup Scene. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
You haven't heard that at all this week. Two questions. You got a new car in your driveway. Talk about that. And about the fact that this is the last July 4th race here at Daytona for a while.
Yeah, so on the new car, I got to drive a ZL1 1LE Camaro at Milford last year at the Proving Grounds. I've always been a Corvette guy, so I almost didn't want to like it, and I fell in love with it there and started thinking about how to try to get one, and then I drove one at Spring Mountain a couple weeks ago too. I was like, man, if I win a race, I'm going to go get one. And then yesterday I had a little mini road trip to Wilmington to go get one and bring it back. But that was a lot of fun. Thanks, Mr. H, for letting me take the helicopter to Wilmington to buy a car. That was pretty neat. It was definitely faster there than the 3.5-hour drive back. But it was a lot of fun. Got to buy it from Jeff Gordon Chevrolet, so that was neat as well. And then, other question. Oh, July 4th. Yeah. So, I don't know. That's pretty interesting. I guess I hadn't really thought about it too much, but I feel like this place is always a heck of a show on the 4th of July. Obviously, today's 4th of July, so happy 4th to everybody. And I don't know. I guess I'll have to put some thought into that one.
We'll go to Jerry, Holly, and then Lee.
Jerry Jordan, kicking the tires on that. I was actually going to ask about the vet as well, but why Wilmington? I mean, there's surely Mr. H has lots of cars. Car buying for you probably has to be a lot different than car buying for us. You took a helicopter.
Yeah, that was interesting. It was like, if we get you the helicopter, will you buy it today? It was like a whole new level of car salesman on that one. I was like, okay, so. Yeah, it was interesting. It was a lot of fun. It's pretty neat when you get to do stuff like that. So I'm enjoying it so far. It was a good 3.5-hour ride home to break it in.
Wait, I'm making 3.5 hours in my Honda, so.
Yeah, it's 4th of July. There's a lot of police officers out watching the roads. I was not trying to get a speeding ticket. I don't want to jack my insurance rates too bad.
Go to Holly, Lee, and then Nate.
Hey, Alex, Holly King, the NASCAR Wire Service. I wondered if you could talk a little bit about how your week has been. I saw that Jack Nicklaus had sent you something on Twitter earlier. I guess that was Sunday night. But if you could just talk about also, does it feel as good as you always anticipated it was? You've had a long time to think about it and a week to celebrate it.
Yeah, it's probably been a little different than I thought it would be. It was just a really short week and a lot of obligations come along with it, but it's been a lot of fun. It was really fun to get home Sunday night and get to kind of share that with my friends, and the whole race team stopped by on their way home from the airport, so that was really cool. It's just been a lot of fun. I feel like it's a big relief, and now I want to go win a bunch more, but that was always, you always get that kind of question in the back of your head, like, what if I never win a cup race? Just like start thinking about how many drivers have driven for Hendrick Motorsports that haven't won a cup race in their career, and I don't want to be one of those guys, or I don't even know if anybody's ever done that. So it feels really good to kind of have that off my back, and now we can just focus on going and winning a bunch more of them.
Did you hear from anyone that was completely out of the blue, someone that impressed you that would reach out? Or
I mean, obviously, the messages on Twitter from a lot of really cool people, that was really neat. Nobody really surprising for me. I went through 400 text messages and tried to respond to everybody, so that took a lot of time, but it was just really neat to see everybody's support, and I'm super appreciative of that.
We'll go to Lee, Nate, and then Kelly.
Did Emma go to Wilmington?
No, she's sick, so she stayed home. She started teaching, so she brought home germs from some little kid, and I've been avoiding her like the plague. So literally, like, sleeping on the couch, avoiding her like the plague.
Hope she gets well soon. Given your success at Chicagoland, do you anticipate that things will click at other intermediate tracks? I mean, when we go to Kentucky next week, do you expect to be in the mix as well?
Yeah, I think our intermediate program has obviously been really strong for the last couple months. And Kansas, we were really good. So Chicago's one we kind of circled. Kentucky is so different just with how flat 3 and 4 is, and it's a fresh repave and all that. So, I think we'll be really strong there. I don't know if we've circled it quite as much as we did a place like Chicago and Kansas, but looking forward to it. I think we can go win each and every week. I think we can win this week. Any week we go to the racetrack right now, I feel like our cars are very capable of winning.
Does that also come from the win, too, that you feel that extra bump?
Yeah, but I felt that way before that too. We went to a lot of different styles of racetracks and ran really well. Michigan and Pocono should have been top 5s, and we had a bad last restart at Michigan and a part failure at Pocono. So, we've been fast everywhere, I feel like, and just need to keep capitalizing on it. And I need to go win a bunch more races if Mr. H is going to keep making me buy cars all the time.
We're going to go to Nate, Kelly, Dustin, and then Chris.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. So first, Alex, just to clarify, the helicopter ride was free, but the car was not, correct?
Yeah. I feel like the helicopter ride might have got incorporated into some type of dock fee, or when you buy a car, it's like you get price 1, and then there's like dock fee, tax, title, license, registration. So I feel like there might have been a hidden fee that I missed there. That was a helicopter ride. So I very well could be paying for it.
And then secondly, in the media center last week, you said that your career hadn't been what you had hoped it would have been as a kid. What did 10-year-old Alex Bowman think would be the career right now for 26-year-old Alex Bowman? What do you think you would have done, or where you would have been by now? Man,
10-year-old me would have thought that it was going to be super easy the whole way, and that I was just going to win all the time, and that there weren't going to be any struggles and weren't going to be any low points. And I don't know. I think looking back at it all, I'll take my way over that, just because I feel like I appreciate it a lot more because I had to work a lot harder to get to this point. And kind of those low points and struggles make it all worth it so much more. But yeah, 10-year-old me would have been like, it's all going to be super easy, and I'm going to break every record there is, and I'm better than everybody, all that. But then reality kind of set in a little bit shortly after that.
Was Cup where you wanted to be?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as a kid, I thought F1 was super cool all the time, and then I went road racing once and realized that it probably not my end goal there. But it's. I would say Cup, yeah, it was the end goal, but just making a living driving a race car was kind of always my goal as a kid, and I really like sprint car and midget racing as well, so kind of would have taken anything, but whatever I was driving, I just thought winning was going to be super easy.
Go to Kelly.
KellyCrandallRacer.com. Alex, 2 things. The first is you had also said last week that by winning a Cup race now, you kind of feel like you belong. You've heard those questions about whether you deserve it or you haven't won a Cup race. You'd heard all that. Does stuff like that, had that been sticking with you maybe more than you'd let on over the years? Like, had it really bothered you? Obviously you were quick to bring it up last week.
Yeah, I don't think it didn't bother me that much. It just was a lot of motivation. That like just having people say all the time that you can't do it and that you haven't done it is a good way to motivate me. So if they want to keep saying it, I'm all good. But it's just, I think it's really easy to say you're not supposed to read those articles or you're not supposed to think about it or let it bother you. But probably not as good at that as I should be. And I see that stuff all the time and just use it as motivation.
And the second thing is you had said during your string of those second place finishes that the biggest thing for the team was just to stay consistent, not go back to running outside the top 10. Even before you got the win last week, have you felt like the team has been consistent enough? Have you guys turned the corner?
Yeah, for sure. You look at Talladega on for us. We've been really strong everywhere. Charlotte, I knocked the wall down and still finished 7th. Pocono, we lost 4th gear, finished like 15th. And Sonoma, we lost power steering and still finished top 15. So really those were our worst weeks. Other than that, we've been really solid everywhere. And it's been a lot of fun, just to be able to be a little more consistent than we've been and have really fast race cars each and every week. I mean, to go to Sonoma and have speed throughout practice and, drive it off the racetrack twice in qualifying and still make the final round somehow, for me, that's crazy. Like, I've always struggled making speed at road courses. So our cars are just so fast right now, and it's a blast to be driving them.
Go to Dustin and then Chris.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Alex, this week, Landon Castle tweeted about seeing almost, firsthand your struggles to get to this point and saying that, felt like a lot of race car drivers really felt that win type of thing. I want to get your reaction to just kind of seeing that from Landon. And as you may now inspire other drivers, who inspired you in those tough times, or who did you look up to saying that this path is still possible?
Yeah, that was really cool to see from Landon. Obviously, him and I raced each other a lot in the back half of the garage over the years. And, he's obviously super good, really talented, does a lot with a little. And you look at guys like Ross Chastain that have kind of had a similar career path. And Matt DiBenedetto, obviously, is another really good race car driver. So I feel like the back half of the garage doesn't get the credit they deserve sometimes. I mean, those cars are pretty difficult to drive at times, way more difficult than mine are now. So, to come from that to a ride like Hendrick Motorsports has been really cool. There's not recently, I think, like the most recent person that I think of that has had a similar career path would be like Brad Keselowski. But I don't know, through those struggles that I really looked up to another driver. I fell into some situations that kind of helped pull me out of the super low points that I don't really know how they happened. I don't know why Dale said, hey, we should call Alex to drive the car. I don't know why some of those things happened, but up until then, there were obviously some really low points, and I was just trying to keep digging and keep making a living driving a race car because I don't really have a plan B or anything to fall back on, so I didn't really have a choice.
I mean, I know you've got a bigger focus, bigger concern, but the idea that you may not be an inspiration to other drivers,
Yeah, that's really neat. I hadn't really thought about that, and if I inspire somebody, that's really cool. I hadn't thought about that at all, so it's cool to kind of hear that and think about that. And the biggest thing is never give up. There were a lot of opportunities to give up, and it would have been really easy to walk away from the sport in 2016. Could have walked away from the sport in the end of 2013. Not having a great opportunity to run up front anymore, and we decided to just keep digging and make the most of every opportunity that was given. Thanks.
We'll go to Chris and then Reed.
ChrisKnightCatchfence.com. A couple things real quick. Did you get to throw, oh my God, I'm driving Greg Ives into the pool?
No. He knew that was coming all night. So he never had a vulnerable moment around the pool ever. It was always like I got thrown in the pool. So at that point I didn't really care. I would have tackled him and gone in with him. But the dude's like a tree. He's like 7 feet tall. I don't know if you've noticed that, but it's I'm not very big myself. I don't have a lot of momentum once I tackle somebody, so he wouldn't even go near the pool.
All right, and with the playoffs on the horizon, how far do you think the 88 team can go in the playoffs? Do you think you can get to Homestead?
I think it's very possible, yeah. I think each and every week we show up, we can win. We have great partners making that possible with Exalta and Nationwide, Valvoline this week, Lumar. We want to get them as far into the playoffs as we can and try to go to Homestead. There's a lot of really good racetracks, obviously a lot of 1.5 miles, which are great for us right now, and I really feel like we can get there.
Go to Reed and then Claire.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire. Back to Sunday's race for a second. Most of the time when one driver passes another late, like Larson did you, people know how that's going to come out. What told you, sitting in the seat of the car, what did you feel, what did you think that told you that you could get back by him and win the race?
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't want to run second anymore, so I was going to crash the thing or win. It was as simple as that. I just got a little more aggressive with how I ran the fence for that one lap that I was behind him, and was able to create a big run off 4, and he left both of my options open into turn 1, and I decided to go to the bottom and was just able to get to his quarter panel and drag him back down the straightaway. And the top is so far around in 3 and 4 that when you got somebody underneath you, there's really nothing you can do to defend that. So I was as surprised as everybody else that we made that happen. But, I'm glad it all worked out. I still have had to think about why it happened like that or how it happened like that and can't figure it out, but I'll take it.
Go to Claire.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. I've been interviewing people in Victory Lane for about 20 years now, and I don't remember a crew chief ever saying to me, it's so-and-so's team. It's not the number 88. This is Alex Bowman's team. And while I'm sure people talk about that behind the scenes, it was a very public statement, almost to me like a passing of the baton to say it publicly, that visibly in Victory Lane. Does that make you stronger, even though you probably have had those conversations? What does that mean to you that he said that? Because it sort of struck me as something very unique.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that comes from a little bit of the struggle I had to try to kind of say that it's my race car or our race car, however you want to look at that. I think this might be the first media availability that I haven't had the question yet, what's it like to replace Dale Earnhardt Jr.? So, it's obviously really hard to come into an iconic car like this after somebody like Dale Jr. drives it. I would imagine Chase went through the same thing, stuff like that with big name guys coming before you. So, that was tough just to kind of try to be a leader. Like, I'm not a natural leader either. I don't think Greg or I are. I think that's something we both struggle with and have both tried to help each other out with over the last year and a half. And, finally, lately, I feel like we're both doing a good job of it. It's kind of been a growing process of trying to figure out how to be leaders. We're both kind of a little bit awkward and shy in different situations, and we have some really big personalities on our team, and it's easy for us to be quiet and kind of let other people be more of leaders than we are. So we've both been working really hard at it, and it seems to be paying off lately.
We're going to wrap up with Kelly.
Alex, are we going to see what we saw at Talladega this Saturday night when it comes to the manufacturer war, so to speak, where it's going to be strength in numbers to combat the Toyotas?
Yeah, I think so. I think everybody watched it at Talladega, so now you're going to have probably elevated levels of it from all 3 camps. Each camp is probably going to try to replicate what we were able to do with the Chevrolets and have their own twist on it, and it's going to be really interesting. It's tough to do. Really glad it worked out in Talladega, and glad we were able to get one of our cars a win. But yeah, that's just that's kind of the point we're at with speedway racing, and there's big strength in numbers, and you want all those numbers to be on the same agenda.
All right, Alex, thanks for joining us. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, guys. What?
Y'all are going to race.
Mr. H's car blew up.
How fast did you go?
Mr. H's car?
Yours.
Mine's slow. We can't get it to hook up, but Mr. H's car blew up.
Oh, how much horsepower does that Camaro have?
Not enough.
I'm talking about compared to your Cup car. More? Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Alice, did you ever figure out who brought you the prize?
It was Warren and Tina.
Ooh.
You never know. That's the thing. You never know.
Bowman was smart because Bowman last week on his week's availability at the convention came out and said, hey, don't look at me. I've watched stuff. Yeah, that's what I just want to follow up on
They don't really